Is it time to legalise cannabis? We're taking your calls on this now. 0207 862 2222. A poll has found that two-thirds of, police officers believe the Class B drug is effectively decriminalised. They say offenders are regularly let off with just a slap on the wrist because the force don't have the resources to deal with them. The researchers behind the survey say that tackling the use of cannabis is not a political priority, and the police feel they are unable to do much about it. Paula, you would suggest that legalising cannabis could help to reduce the crimes. Is that right?
Not only the crime. So, of course, people only think about the illegality of cannabis in relation to the criminal justice system. But, of course, I represent so many parents who lose their children because of their addiction to cannabis. They simply cannot control it. And there just simply isn't the addiction support there for them to engage in, because, of course, waiting lists are 12 months long, 18 months long, outside of the timescale of the child in court proceedings. And so their child will have to end up either being adopted or going to care. And it is just, it's a juxtaposition for me, isn't it? Because you'd think me working within the justice system that I would be all about, no, it's got to be, it's got to remain a Class B drug. We've got to maintain that classification. But the reality is, Jeremy, it's not working, and people are suffering.
What does the world tell us here, Mike? Because we've got parts of the state, Colorado now. Yeah, it's decriminalised. Yeah. We all know about Amsterdam.
Well,
and
yes,
all that.
Funnily enough, you mentioned
Germany,
Amsterdam.
Spain.
Amsterdam have actually gone into reverse, and they've closed down all the coffee shops where you used to go in and smoke a spliff and have a cup of coffee because of the damage that cannabis addiction was doing to their society. Now, Paula, your story about, parents who lose their children to cannabis addiction, I thought you'd be the first to say, so you've got to ban cannabis. And I think you've got to start right at the beginning and crack down on the people who deal in cannabis. And we all know that once you start trying cannabis, and if it was legal, another 50% of people who don't use it now would start to use it because it's not illegal, right? And once that happens, once you are on the ladder of drug use, it goes all the way to the top. It goes to cocaine, it goes to heroin, and we know that crime waves in this country are often caused by people taking drugs and committing crimes. And anything to ease the ability for people to take illegal drugs should, in my view, be absolutely clamped down.
All right, so zero tolerance.
What we're hearing here is fear and not reality. We've been given reality by this research. I am giving you reality. If you are going to use cannabis, you're going to use cannabis. Whether it is legal or illegal, you're going to use cannabis.
You shouldn't be encouraged, though.
And what is most important, well, in the same way that we treat alcohol, and what is most important, actually, is having that support system in place. Because this is going to happen. And the biggest problem that we have is that we're treating addicts, it's an illness, Jeremy, as criminals. And that is the number one problem for me. If we started treating addicts as they should be treated, those who are ill, those who are unwell, they don't need to enter our criminal justice system. That is a waste of time. But what we do need to focus on, of course, is the drug smugglers. Why are we sending our police officers to deal with somebody who has got possession of cannabis for personal use? Yeah. Why are we wasting their time doing that?
The biggest increase in one form of crime in this country is people driving under the influence of cannabis.
Wow.
And that has got to be cracked down upon because people get killed.
Well, and it's stronger and stronger. And as you've said already, Paula, the kids sometimes can take it and they're just gone. Sandra in Stoke-on-Trent, hello.
Hello.
Are you a cannabis user? Absolutely not. Right, nor am I, just to declare an interest or non-interest. What do you think of this? The police should just say, well, we'll let it go. We can't, they can't investigate everything.
I absolutely agree with that. I think the police's time should be better spent chasing more serious drugs like cocaine and heroin and crack. Cannabis, to me, is no different than alcohol and cigarettes. And I think that cannabis should be more regulated and taxed, just like alcohol and cigarettes.
So you'd have a market in it. You'd have people that you would definitely have people trying it for the first time because it was legal. Exactly. As bizarre as that sounds.
As happened with alcohol and cigarettes.
Yeah, for sure.
That argument is really null and void. I think a lot of people find the fact that cannabis is illegal to be glamorous. And if you take away the glamour, it might actually deter people, not encourage them.
Sandra, I just don't agree. I mean, people keep comparing it to alcohol and say, well, alcohol causes problems. Yes, it does. So why then introduce another substance into society, free cannabis, which also causes huge problems and leads on to harsher drugs?
Mike, cannabis is already here.
I know it is.
It's already here. So this is not an introduction. It's already here.
And there'll be more of it.
But how will there be more of it?
Because
this is what I'm talking about, fear. Or there'll be more of it. More people will try it. More people will experience it.
Of course they will.
But people are already doing that. It's already here. It's already having a negative impact. How do we address that now?
Millions
we take away the power that the smugglers have. We take away the power that the dealers have. And we cannot take away the power that the dealers have and the smugglers have with our police, who are underfunded.
All right.
That's not how we can do that anymore.
Thank you, Sandra. Clive in Cheshire, what do you think? Make cannabis legal, effectively?
Yes, I would absolutely agree. But we've got to understand there are two types of cannabis. There is a skunk cannabis, which is grown chemically. Mike, you don't understand the situation.
No, I think I do.
He's not been out of his head on cannabis.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not have an argument. Yeah. There is a natural herb cannabis, which is grown in the earth, natural sun and water.
Yeah.
There's no chemicals in it. If you're growing cannabis, if you're growing skunk, there's a bottle of whatever you add to it that has got skull and crossbone on it. It's a poison.
Right, well
and Clive, sorry.
Would you have any of that?
Yeah. But Clive, I'm sorry, are you so naive that you don't think when somebody starts on the herbal cannabis and after a while, oh, that's quite nice, I wonder if I can make it any stronger, then they go on to the skunk cannabis, then they go on to cocaine.
Mike, can I finish, please?
Of course.
That's all I'm asking. It's my birthday today, so...
Happy birthday. How old are you, Clive?
Right, so listen, I'm being punished right now. I've had lung cancer. I'm a cancer patient.
Okay.
I've used a natural cannabis oil resin. It's cured me. I've not had no treatment from Christie's Hospital.
Well, listen, I think if you're taking it to relieve pain, I can't. No one's going to disagree with that.
Exactly.
You know, and if it's cured you, that's a whole other thing. But do you use the skunk or do you use the herbal?
I had to use it, but I had to stop because I've been revoked. My driving license has been revoked because they found it in my system, and it's causing me a lot of stress right now. But I've had to stop and go through the pain just to get my license back.
Okay.
I'm not a drug addict. I don't use heroin or cocaine and all of that. And it wasn't cannabis that got me to use them drugs. It doesn't have to cause it. You have to set your mind and choose what you choose as a recreational drug.
Very interesting thought, and I wish you well with your health, Clive, and your recovery. Thank you. After the break, it's the papers and everything else.